At the races 3 times now, Warren. Peter Moody, Linda Meach combine here.
Resuming here, was given quite an easy time in a recent jump out where she settled off the speed, but she was trucking up nicely behind them and looked to have plenty in reserve from that inside draw. What we've seen from her on race day, this distance range, she should be able to hold a spot, and looks like she's been given a solid grounding to get back to the races. Her last jump out was quite encouraging.
3 Gregorius, one of a number of first starters here. $11 for Colin Little and Michael D.
What we've seen from Egregious at jump outs is an indication that she's probably likely to get off the speed that little bit and be more of a staying type of shocking, but a bit similar to what Colin mentioned with his previous horse, although it was well down the track on debut in Grangemouth. But Egregious has shown enough at the jump outs to think she's certainly not going to be totally outsped over 1,200 metres, but that from an inside draw she'd at least get a few pairs back.
For Elite Rock, an $11 chance here on debut, a $400,000 Magic Million purchase, a full sister to Awesome Rock.
A couple of recent jump outs have been encouraging, been on the speed and off the speed and then poking up behind them at Werribee, so looks a little bit versatile. Obviously haven't got a racing pattern or style yet because we haven't seen the horse race, but he's shown a degree of versatility at the jump outs and a degree of talent.
5 Heather Honey, $9. Simon Morris, Damien Oliver.
Comes back in distance with the blinkers on and the tongue tie on. Previous run over 1,200 metres was 2 starts back, and she was confident on that occasion, and the format of that race has held up well with Jackie's Joy winning, and then stepped up in distance to what looked a suitable race, just given a little freshen with the blinkers on and the tongue tie on, so expected to be strong late.
6 Jealous Rumour at $31 for Jamie Edwards and Daniel Moore.
Haven't seen Jealous Rumour publicly, so we've got to let the market be the guide there, and the market's being a little bit reserved in the judgment on debut.
Dam won at 900 metres, that's about all I could tell you, and was City placed. 7 Keen Desire, another one for Mike Moroney on debut. Ryan Maloney takes the ride, $31.
Daughter of Wanted, but from what I've seen at the jump outs, she looks to be a filly that's probably going to get out over that little bit of ground. She doesn't have a lot of brilliance about her in the jump outs, so I would expect her to get back off the speed and back nearer last than first from that outside draw on debut.
Scratch 8, 9 and 10, so we get down to 11 Make Her Own Way for Sean Dwyer and Billy Egan, who's $14.
Contested a benchmark 70 at Moonee Valley last start, so obviously dropping grade here from a 3-year-old benchmark 70, and really didn't get into the race and was wide, and Kraken won that race, so that's a strong form race. That was 1,600 metres, so freshen up, back in distance, back to maiden grade with the winkers off. Certainly a watch runner because she hasn't had a lot of luck in a couple of her previous attempts at maiden grade and has gone well enough to be very competitive here. 12
Manhattan Muse is a query runner here, 5 out to 550, first starter for Darren Weir and Brad Rawilla.
Don't even take much notice of that little minor drift in the market there for a Darren Weir trained runner on debut. Very well bred and obviously a significant market watch, not seen publicly as you mentioned, but strong respect for the stable and a daughter of Choisir that certainly wouldn't have to be anything terrific to be competitive here, and the market's got her right in there.
Weir has trained all the progeny out of the mare so far, our Manhattan and Manhattan Maid. Manhattan Maid has been a multiple winner. 13 Night Queen, good debut runners we've highlighted through the preview, Warren, and is the race favourite at $4.60.
Steps up to 1,200 metres and you'd think would even get further as she gets deeper into her campaign and deeper into her career, but a terrific debut. The format of that maiden at Werribee's held up quite well. The little step up in distance is suitable and she should run well. 15
in the club colours here for Nick Hall and Robbie Lang, style maker.
Had trialled quite well leading into that first up run without being pushed out in the trial, and probably was just a little bit plain, but with the benefit of that run under her belt at 1,200 metres, at big odds she's one that's capable of improving because she trialled well and she's shown glimpses of ability in her career to date.
Mamselle Tess is in the betting, $8 out to 9 for the Corstons team and Chris Parnham.
Held her ground behind Single Note in a race at Geelong here last start. That was on debut. Stays at that distance range, gets the winkers on today, just might sharpen her up. Got that slightly awkward draw to contend with, but there was a bit to like about her debut performance. She should have taken improvement from that. 19 Bologna Bell, Tony Noonan, Reece Wheeler at $12. Just held her ground behind Magna Rossa at Sale last start. That was only her second start in a race. Her debut performance was solid behind Spearhead in a race that was suited for horses to make some ground. But we saw Magna Rossa go to Flemington and win on New Year's Day, so the form through that race has held up well.
And 20 Aurora Flyer for the Corstons team, Tom Sadler aboard at $31.
Resuming here, didn't show a lot on debut at the only start we've seen to date. Gets the blinkers on and the tongue tie on, but hasn't been showing a lot in recent jump outs.
All right, they're heading off to the gates. Here's the latest market up.